ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. By His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 8, Dhruva Mahārāja leaves home. And we are in the section where now Narad Muni is going to impart some other important instructions to Dhruva after imparting the mantra that he has already given, Dvadashakshara mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This mantra is already being given to Dhruva Maharaj. So here Dhruva Maharaj is initiated now, okay, by Narad Muni in the mantra, and Dhruva is going to be given the additional some instructions how to conduct there. So we are at text 57. Yes. स्वेच्छावतार चरितै अचिन्त्य निजमायया करिष्यति उत्तम श्लोक तद्ध्यायेत् हृदमागमम्.
Translation. My dear Dhruva, besides worshipping the deity and chanting the mantra 3 times a day, you should meditate upon the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different incarnations, as exhibited by his supreme will and personal potencies. Purport. Devotional service comprises of 9 prescribed practices, namely hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, serving, offering everything to the deity, etc. Here Dhruva Maharaj is advised not only to meditate on the form of the Lord, but to think of his transcendental pastimes in his different incarnations. Mayavadi philosophers take the incarnation of the Lord to be in the same category as the ordinary living entity. This is a great mistake. The incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not forced to act by the material laws of nature. The word Svecha is used here to indicate that he appears out of his supreme will. The conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of body according to his karma given by the laws of material nature under the direction of the Supreme Lord. But when the Lord appears, he is not forced by the dictation of the material nature. He appears as he likes by his own internal potency. That is the difference. The conditioned soul accepts a particular type of body, such as the body of a hog, by his work and by the superior authority of material nature. But when Lord Krishna appears in the incarnation of a boar, he is not the same kind of hog as an ordinary animal. Krishna appears as a Varaha avatar in an expansive feature which cannot be compared to an ordinary hog's. His appearance and disappearance are inconceivable to us. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that he appears by his own internal potency for the protection of the devotees and the annihilation of the non-devotees. A devotee should always consider that Krishna does not appear as an ordinary human being or ordinary beast. His appearance as Varaha Murti or a horse or tortoise is an exhibition of his internal potency. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibha Vitabhi. One should not mistake the appearance of the Lord as a human being or a beast to be the same as the birth of an ordinary conditioned soul. One is forced to appear by the laws of nature, whether as an animal, as a human being, or as a demigod. This kind of thinking is offensive. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has condemned the Mayavadis as offensive to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of their thinking that the Lord and the conditioned living entities are one and the same. Narada advises Dhruva to meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, which is as good as the meditation of concentrating one mind on the form of the Lord. As meditation on any form of the Lord is valuable, so is chanting of different names of the Lord, such as Hari, Govinda, and Narayana. But in this age, we are especially advised to chant the Hare Krishna mantra as initiated in the Shastras. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Narada Muni further advised Dhruva Mahārāja that, my dear Dhruva, Swechhavatara Charitai, Achintya Nijamayaya, Tarishyati Uttama Shloka, Tadhyayet Hridayam Gamam. I said, my dear Narad, my dear Dhruva, worshipping the deity, besides worshipping the deity, chanting the mantras 3 times a day, meditate upon the form of the Lord and also on the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, who is Uttama Shloka. Right. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that devotional service comprises of 9 prescribed activities. Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare Pujana Sakhijana Atma Nivedana. So these are the 9 activities of devotional service. And here Dhruva, generally we think that Dhruva Maharaj went and he did a lot of tapasya. And then we say, Acha, he did meditation also. No, he was chanting the holy names of the Lord. He was worshipping the deity. He was meditating on the form of the Lord. And he was also meditating on different pastimes of the Lord in different incarnations. Right? So this is very important. Sometimes we think Dhruva only did tapasya. No, that is too simplistic to understand. Dhruva did 4 activities. Right? The word specifically used here is Svecha. That the Lord appears, there is a difference between avatar and birth. Right? And that's why we will never say, typically from the different connotation perspective, birth of a Lord, right? Because Lord doesn't take birth in a sense of living entity taking a birth, who is forced by his own activities and under the supervision of the material nature. Karmana daivanetrena, or urdhvam gacchanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasa, jaganya guna vrittistha, adho gacchanti tamasa. So living entity is completely bound by the laws of material nature, and based on his activities under the supervision of Daiva, living entity will attain different bodies. Right? But the Lord, when he take different incarnations, he is not under the same category. Prabhupada says when the Lord comes as Varahadev, he's not similar as some ordinary boar, the moving around here and there. No, the ordinary boar, pig who is moving around has degraded to that form based on his own activities. But when Lord takes Varaha incarnation, it is Swechhavatar Charitai and it is Nijamayaya. He is coming in his own form and in his own Maya, Atma Maya. Bhagavad Gita talks about this. And therefore, appearance of the Supreme Lord and his activities are considered to be transcendental. Janma karma cha me divyam, evam yo vetti tatvatah. So appearance of the Lord is not as ordinary human being. So people generally make 2 mistakes. One mistake they make is they consider Lord as ordinary human being. They will consider, Ram ko bhi vanvas jana pada, Krishna ko bhi aisa karna pada, No, these are their pure pastimes. And the second mistake they make is they consider ordinary human being as God. Right. Some Baba here and there, and showing some chamatkar. People just go mad and say, "Oh, he is God, he is God, he is God." And India is a factory of such gods. Every town, every village, every district, there is Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayak, who is just moving around. So this is a critical mistake people make. They consider, and Lord says this in Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashrita param bhavam ajananto. Because they do not know my superior, higher nature, they consider me as a human-like form when I appear so. And this is a specific contribution to Mayavadis. They say, yeah, everybody is same. That God, you are also God. You are just the Brahman caught up in Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamogun. Once you get rid of Guna, automatically you will realize you are God. And we have already discussed many times that if Brahman is overpowered by Guna, that means Guna is greater than Brahman, right? They say no, Guna, because Brahman is now overpowered because he is fragmented. Then Bhagavad Gita says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, naidam dahati pavaka, na chaidyam kledayante apo, na shoshayati marutah. That the soul cannot be cut. Then how your Brahman is cut? And they say, no, they don't have answer to that. So, therefore, one should avoid, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu condemned this Mayavadi philosophers as very offensive. Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi. Because they think that the Lord and the conditional living entity, they are on the same level. Right. So this is a big aparadh that they do. That shloka we have quoted many times. Arche Vishnu Shiladir, Guru Shanaramatir, Vaishnave Jati Buddhir. So Narad Muni advised Dhruva Mahārāja to meditate on the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And so Prabhupada says, so when we are chanting the holy names of different incarnations, we are actually meditating on their different pastimes. Right. And therefore it is recommended for a devotee to chant different names of the Lord. Nam Akari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis. Like devotees chant Rama Raksha Stotram, Vishnu Sahasranam. So these are the 1,000 names of Lord having 1,000 different pastimes. But in this Kali Yuga specifically, for the deliverance, there is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is how Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explains this purport. Incidentally, this was the shloka I had given Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class in Radha Kunja Bihari temple in 2016. Text 58. Parichariya Bhagavato Yavatyah Purva Sevitah Tamantrardayenaiva Prayunjat Mantramurtaye. Translation?
Translation: one should follow in the footsteps of previous devotees regarding how to worship the Supreme Lord with the prescribed paraphernalia, or one should offer worship within the heart by reciting the mantra to the personality of Godhead, who is non-different from the mantra. Purport: it is recommended here that even if one cannot arrange to worship the forms of the Lord with all recommended paraphernalia, one can simply think about the form of the Lord and mentally offer everything recommended in the Shastras, including flowers, chandana pulp, conch shell, umbrella, fan, and chamara. One can meditate upon offering and chant the 12-syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Since the mantra and the Supreme Personality of the Godhead are non-different, one can worship the form of the Lord with the mantra in the absence of physical paraphernalia. The story of Ramana, who worshipped the Lord within his mind, as related in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the Nectar of Devotion, should be consulted in this connection. If paraphernalia is not present physically, one can think of the items and offer them to the deity by chanting the mantra. Such are the liberal and potent facilities in the process of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
So Narada Muni further says, one who follows in the footsteps of the previous devotees regarding how to worship the Supreme Lord with the prescribed paraphernalia, physically or in the mind, then, right, one should try to worship the Lord within the heart with who is non-different than the mantra. So the Supreme Lord is absolute, mantra murtaye. The specific word here is the murti and the mantra, they are non-different. Mantra murtaye. So if one is in a position, when is not in a position to arrange for elaborate deity worship, then one should one should consider the form of the Lord within, right? Simply think of the form of the Lord and mentally offer everything recommended in the Shastra. And there are so many wonderful examples of this, right? There once, many devotees, they were caught up in a jail. They were caught up for doing Harinam Sankirtan abroad. And they were put inside a jail. Okay. And because the bail was very costly, they said that no question, we cannot pay so much of money. And they remained in the jail for a considerable period. And suddenly Janmashtami was appearing. And the devotees, they were so excited. Of course, in the jail, they continued their activities of chanting, dancing. And in fact, when Janmashtami started coming, the leader of the devotees, he remembered this example. He remembered the story of that Brahman in Pratishtanpur, which comes in the nectar of instruction, where he had no physical paraphernalia, but he had a great intense desire to serve the Supreme Lord. So then what did he do? Within his mind, he began to prepare certain offerings like sweet rice and everything, and began offering to the Supreme Lord. And that beautiful story goes that one day, within his mind, when he was checking whether the sweet rice is hot or cold, suddenly his finger burnt. And then when he opened his eyes, he realized that nothing was there actually, but his finger was burnt. And Lord Viṣṇu was smiling in the Vaikuntha. And Lakshmi ji is asking, my dear husband, why are you smiling? And then Lord Viṣṇu narrated this pastime and brought him to the Vaikuntha world. So devotee knew this story, and they decided that in the jail now we are going to celebrate Janmashtami the way it is recommended in Nectar of Instruction. When there is no paraphernalia available, we should simply perform the activities on the level of the mind. So all the devotees, it's a big story, cutting short. All the devotees, they just assembled, they created a big plan. What should be the feast? And see, physically you have limitation. In the mind, there is no limitation, right? And they prepared a big feast. They planned everything. They said that we will keep the deities here. The devotees should make the line here. They should do Abhishek here. Bhajan team, Kirtan team, cooking team. So many people should be, devotees should be in cooking. And, they just engaged themselves like this. And all the prisoners, initially they thought these people have gone crazy because they had nothing in their hand. There were neither deities nor any paraphernalia, neither any, the fruits or vegetables to cut or anything like that. But seeing them so happy and ecstatic, they also participated. And somebody was saying that, please bring the rice. And somebody was bringing the rice, somebody was bringing milk, somebody was bringing, different items. They put on the chula, where in the mind. And they were just and they just prepared such a huge feast in the mind. Okay. And when the superintendent, after a couple of days, when he visited the jail, everybody, all the prisoners greeted the superintendent, Hari bol, Hari bol. And the superintendent got very concerned about what's happening to the prison. So devotees had literally changed prison into a temple. Right. So Prabhupada says, if the paraphernalia is not present physically, one can think of the items and offer them to the deity by chanting of the mantras. Such are the liberal and the potent facilities in the process of devotional service. See how much one can be liberal. There cannot be anybody who is more liberal than the Supreme Lord. He's saying, okay, if you don't have anything, just perform the activity in the mind and I will accept it. Right. And there are so many different stories. There is a story of Brahmachari, I think Nakula Brahmachari, who was preparing, the huge road. No, not Nakula Brahmachari. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was towards the Vrindavan Yatra, within his mind, he was preparing the road for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at particular place, Ramkeli, he said that I'm not able to prepare the road beyond this in my mind. That means Mahaprabhu will return from Ramkeli and he will again come to Jagannath Puri. And devotees were shocked. I think Shuklambar Das Brahmachari. So these are the activities of devotional service, and a devotee who can offer. So When Radhanath Maharaj was giving a lecture on this, he made a very amazing point. He said, one can be a beggar in the street, one can offer billions of dollars of devotional service within one's mind. Right? One can be actually a beggar, but he has a desire to offer service. He can offer billions of dollars of worth devotional service within one's mind. Text 59. Evam kayena manasa vachasa cha manogatam paryacharyamano bhagavan bhaktimat paricharyaya pumsam amaninam samyak bhajatam bhavavardhanah Śreyah dishanti avimatam yadharmadishu dehinam. Translation.
Anyone who thus engages in the devotional service of the Lord seriously and sincerely with his mind, words, and body, and who is fixed in the activities of the prescribed devotional methods, is blessed by the Lord according to his desire. If a devotee desires material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation from the material world, he is awarded these results. Purport: devotional service is so potent that one who renders devotional service can receive whatever he likes as a benediction from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conditioned souls are very much attached to the material world, and thus by performing religious rites, they want the material benefits known as dharma and artha.
So, evam kayena manasa vachasa cha manogata. Anyone who thus engages in devotional service seriously and sincerely with his mind, words, and body is fixed in the activities and thus blessed with whatever he wants. Right? He may want dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and thus a devotee will be blessed with whatever he desires. If a devotee desires, he will be awarded with these results. So Narad Muni is saying that, my dear Dhruva, you have the desire to attain a planet, attain a place which is far greater than even your great grandfather Brahmaji, who is my father. Narad Muni's father is Brahma. Then you will attain this by Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that devotional service is so potent that one who renders devotional service can receive whatever he likes as the benediction from the Supreme Lord. Right. Generally, the conditioned soul, Prabhupada writes, is very attached to material world, and thus he wants so many material benefits, which is known as dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. And whatever is the intention of a devotee performing devotional service, those intention will come true if the devotional service is performed with intensity. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Prabhupada writes here, seriously and sincerely. There can be ulterior motive, but the serious, sincere devotional service, even for dharma, artha, kama, moksha, can give tremendous results, as we are going to see in the life of Dhruva Mahārāja. And on the side note, therefore, we should also be aware of our intentions, right? Why we are performing devotional service. Why we are doing devotional service. We have to be progressively, we should come out of this dharma, artha, kama, moksha trap. And one should be performing devotional service. Ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Now, Dhruva's devotional service was very intense, but it was not ahaituki. Right? And therefore, even after performing entire thing, there will be a slight dissatisfaction in the mind of Dhruva, thinking that why did I do this? I should have performed the devotional service without any motive. Why did I, had this intention of attaining something? Of course, he's a small child, and but this is there. So progressively, as a devotee, we have to work on our purpose and intention. Why we are performing devotional service. Text 61. Viriktaischa indriyaratau bhakti yogena bhuyasa tam nirantara bhavena bhaje daddha vimuktaye.
Translation. If one is very serious about liberation, he must stick to the process of transcendental loving service, engaging 24 hours a day in the highest stage of ecstasy, and he must certainly be aloof from all activities of sense gratification. Purport. There are different stages of perfection according to the different person's objective. Generally, people are karmis, for they engage in activities of sense gratification. Above the karmis are the jnanis, who are trying to become liberated from material entanglement. Yogis are still more advanced because they meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And above all these are the devotees, who simply engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. They are situated seriously on the topmost platform of ecstasy. Here, Dhruva Mahārāja is advised that if he has no desire for sense gratification, then he should directly engage himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The path of apavarga, or liberation, begins from the stage called moksha. In this verse, the word vimukti, for liberation, is especially mentioned. If one wants to be happy within this material world, he may aspire to go to different material planetary systems where there is a higher standard of sense gratification. But real moksha, or liberation, is performed without any such desire. This is explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by term Anyabhilashita Shunyam, without desire for material sense gratification. For persons who are still inclined to enjoy material life in different stages or on different planets, the stage of liberation in Bhakti Yoga is not recommended. Only persons who are completely free from the contamination of sense gratification can execute Bhakti Yoga, or the process of devotional service, very purely. The activities on the path of apavarga up to the stages of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, and kama, are meant for sense gratification. But when one comes to the stage of moksha, the impersonalist liberation, the practitioner wants to merge into the existence of the Supreme. But that is also sense gratification. When one goes above the stage of liberation, however, he at once becomes one of the associates of the Lord to render transcendental loving service. That is technically called vimukti. For this specific vimukti liberation, Narada Muni recommends that one directly engage himself in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Narada Muni further explain, if one is serious about liberation, then one should stick to the path of Bhakti Yogena Bhuyasa. And how the path is to be engaged? Tam nirantara bhavena, engaged continuously, satatam kirtayanto bham, bhaje taddha vimuktaye. Certainly aloof and free from all activities of sense gratification. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, there are karmis, jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. Karmis are engaged in activities. Jnanis are engaged in trying to become liberated from material entanglement. Yogis are meditating on the lotus feet. But the most advanced personalities are the bhaktas, who are directly engaged in the service. Right? And therefore, Dhruva Mahārāja is here advised that he should directly engage himself in the loving service of the Supreme Lord, which is the topmost yoga system. And then Srila Prabhupada dedicates his remaining part of the purport to the word vimuktaye. Vimuktaye means for liberation. So, Prabhupada says, if one wants to be happy in the material world, then devotional service is not the right thing to do. Why? Because one will be, by the process of devotional service, one will be liberated. But if one wants to be happy in the realm of the material world, then better to go and, perform some other activities, like some dharma, artha, kama, moksha, or, yanti deva vrata devan, doing some demigod worship or this or that. If one is still inclined to enjoy material world, there's a beautiful story of Kamsa. We have ever heard of, Kamsa sending different demons to Vrindavan. One day it is explained in one of the Puranas, it is explained that Kamsa personally one day came to Vrindavan and he wanted to personally, kill Krishna. And as soon as Kamsa came to Vrindavan, suddenly, instead of coming across Krishna first, Kamsa came across Radharani and Purnamasi. And, cutting the big story short, Radharani took compassion on Kamsa, feeling that he is so, such a kind of a person he is, and so miserable, always satanam, I mean, chintam parimeyam, such a kind of person. And Radharani instantly converted Kamsa into a gopi, small Sakhi. And Kamsa was like, he was, he had intense other desire, but the form was different, So no, he's still inclined to enjoy the material world. And if we still perform devotional service, so then that is not, so what is recommended is progressively one should be coming out of this inclination to enjoy the material world. Right. Later it is explained that Kamsa then begged forgiveness, and he went out of Vrindavan, and then he got his original form. And then he never stepped in Vrindavan. He kept on sending asuras, but he personally did not come in Vrindavan. So further there is explanation of vimukti. So Prabhupada says there is a difference between moksha and mukti. Moksha means getting liberated and thinking one has become one with the Supreme. That is moksha. But devotees don't look for moksha; they are looking for mukti. And what is mukti? Mukti rhitvanyatha rupam svarupena vyavasthiti. Mukti is to be engaged in one's eternal position of ever engaged devotional service. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, thank you, Guruji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.